This is Professor Michael Chapman. I'm one of the most experienced IVF doctors in Australia. I believe that an important part that I can contribute is to educate patients in relation to fertility, infertility, and all that involves. These series of podcasts help to educate you. I hope they are helpful to you. If you wish to know more, however, I'm more than happy to have you contact me via email, which is profmchapman@gmail.com, or make an appointment to see me on 9138 4222.
Hi there, it's Professor Chapman. I'm a Senior Fertility Specialist based in Sydney, and today we're going to talk about a couple of issues relating to fertility that patients have been talking to me about recently. Let's start with surrogacy. Increasingly, surrogacy is becoming an option for couples, or single women, or single men. In fact, male couples. Because obviously without a female in the relationship, carrying a baby has to be, so far anyway, a female's job. And the only way to do it if you are a male couple is to find a surrogate. We also, with the heterosexual couples, there are a number of reasons why we might think about surrogacy. The first of those is where the uterus is not able to be used for childbearing. Either they lost it with a hysterectomy, or it's had scarring from operations, perhaps to take fibroids out, or radiotherapy that's distorted the whole uterus. So there are a number of reasons, medical reasons, why surrogacy might be indicated in that sort of situation, using that lady's eggs, because her ovaries hopefully have been conserved in all of those operations, but using her partner's sperm and those eggs and having another lady carry the baby. That's what surrogacy is all about. We also think about it in women who seem not to be able to get pregnant, even though their uterus appears normal on all the testing that we do, and they've had multiple embryo transfers with chromosomally normal embryos. And we get to a point maybe after 4 or 5 of those going, we've tried all we can do to make that embryo stick, but we can't, and therefore we should think about a surrogate. What does it involve? The first thing is to find a surrogate. Obviously, asking a woman to carry a baby for 9 months and then give it up at the end of it is quite an ask. And where there is financial reward for the woman, that's obviously one incentive for women to do this. And certainly there are countries around the world, the United States in particular, and some of the Asian countries, where surrogacy is allowed to be funded, or the individual is allowed to be funded to carry the pregnancy. And even in Australia, there is a ruling that says that reasonable expenses are payable. So what's a reasonable expense for a woman to carry a baby for 9 months? Probably be off work for 3 or 4 months of that time, attend all the visits to the obstetrician, all the testing, all of those things. It's obviously quite an expensive exercise for that particular woman. There was a case in Queensland about 5 or 6 years ago where a judge said that $25,000 was reasonable expenses for a surrogate to cover those various costs that I was talking about. Even in Australia, we can pay donors, but we can't pay them excessive amounts of money. The finding of a surrogate, there is an organisation called Surrogacy Australia, which is on the internet, and they do have women volunteering to do this altruistically. We've also had relatives carry babies. So I've certainly had other carry a baby for their daughter who'd lost her uterus due to cancer, and it worked out incredibly well. So there are some people are lucky to have somebody in the family who's prepared to do it for them. The numbers of cycles in Australia are actually relatively small. Something like 300 surrogate cycles a year are undertaken, and so it's not particularly common. When you consider that there are 80,000 IVF cycles done in Australia, only 300 of those relate to surrogacy.
And don't forget that you can access all the previous episodes by going to our website www.theivfjourney.com and select IVF Journey podcast from the navigation menu.